All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another night of Unscripted here on a beautiful Tuesday night. We obviously don't have our main moderator, Logan, tonight due to, him being sick. But I'm here. I'm your moderator for the night, Frankie C. And with me always, like none other, my man, Jay McLovin. What is good, Jay?
Man, everything is good, man. Everything is good. Lots of sports, lots of things going on in sports, and baseball, basketball, football. Plenty of things that's going on. One thing I want to say before we get started is starting February the 8th, guys. Starting February 8th, Unscripted will be on Tiki on the ASAP channel, on the All Sports All Plays channel on Tiki. Starting February 8th, we'll be debuting on there. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But otherwise, hey, it's awesome, Frankie. I'm ready to get going.
That's right. And I'm excited for that February 8th. I can't wait to join that and be on TV finally. But all right, man, let's get it going. Let's get it started. And we didn't even get to start our music intro, so let's go. You can get you guys going with that. Let's go, guys. All right. And thank you again for tuning in. Like always, we are live Tuesday nights, Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can catch us Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. All here at Unscripted on our Facebook page, YouTube, everything social media for Unscripted, including the ASAP Network channel. You can catch us over there on their Facebook and YouTube channels as well. Let's start off with the first topic of the night, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're going to do a little recap of this year's NFL divisional round, which I am excited to talk about because, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, Jay, but this was one of the craziest rounds in NFL playoff to me. A lot of games ended in field goals. A lot of games surprised us. Both number one seed teams are out of the playoffs. And not only that, the GOAT himself is out of the playoffs. Jay, what do you got to say about that?
Yes, Frankie. The GOAT is on the couch. The imposter that wants to be the GOAT, and I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers, is on the couch. All but one road team won. There were 3 field goal decided games and 1 overtime touchdown game. Many games decided, like I said, by a field goal, and the emergence of 2 really nice quarterbacks coming into existence for this foreseeable future, and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. They are really emerging themselves. It's almost like we are seeing the transitional passing of the torch from the old guard to the new guard and this new crop of quarterbacks coming into existence. And I still put Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, he hasn't been in the league that long either, so he's also part of that new crop of quarterbacks. But he obviously has found his success in the Super Bowl. But this conversation about this weekend, this is the best year in playoff football by far.
I agree. This was insane. I believe it was 3 games out of all 4 of these. 3 of these games ended in field goals with all 4 seconds left on the clock. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but the San Francisco 49ers and Green Bay Packers game, that ended with the Robbie Gloud with a field goal kick with 4 seconds left on the clock. The Tennessee Titans got eliminated by the Cincinnati Bengals, who kicked a rookie kicker, ladies and gentlemen. A rookie kicker won them the game, and he's been fantastic this year, that rookie kicker. and nobody wanted to pick him up. He was a 5th-round draft pick for Cincinnati. And he went and he got the game-winning field goal with 4 seconds left. The Los Angeles Rams, I'm surprised that Tom Brady let the Rams do what they did to him again for a second time this year in the same season. I've never seen a team dominate Tom Brady twice in the same year in a very long time. And it's insane to see Tom Brady leave the playoffs this early, especially in the NFC, where we all thought, being the defending champion and re-signing everybody, coming back, you guys are going to make it back there and actually, defend your title. But, man, the Rams were hot. This is what we expected from the Rams after all the signings that the Rams have done. Sean McVay knew that if he wasn't going to win this game against Tampa Bay, he was definitely going to be on the hot seat for next year coming up. And he did it. He got away with it. Tampa Bay did a little comeback, but the field goal, Cooper Kupp was on fire. Cooper Kupp is on a different level, and I'm surprised that nobody's even mentioning Cooper Kupp in the MVP conversation, because this is a man who was the number one.
Wait. I have mentioned it. I have vehemently said that many a time, and I keep getting told that it's only a quarterback type of award. I said that Cooper Kupp is on an MVP year. He hit the Triple Crown, and he dang near with only a few yards, he would have beat Megatron's all-time single season receiving record. So trust me, Frank, I'm with you, brother. I've been trying to promote Cooper Kupp for quite some time now. And some people will say that Cooper Kupp wasn't a legit number one wideout. And I'm like, they're crazy. They're ridiculous.
Cooper Kupp was insane against Tampa Bay, and I don't understand. They left that guy open more than one time in that game. Now, if you know that this is a Triple Crown winner, number one receiving yards in the NFL, number one receiving touches in the NFL, why would you guys leave this man wide open? It makes no sense to me. That guy should have been double down, especially with the final seconds or final minutes that was left on the clock, to at least get them into overtime, but it didn't happen, and Los Angeles was smart enough to get that down the field. And before even thinking about continually going into the end zone, they said, the hell with it, get a timeout, throw the ball away with a couple seconds left. They had 4 seconds left, and they kicked the field goal to end it. And that was a shocker to me to see Tom Brady leave so early with Tampa Bay. It was crazy. But I'm excited that the Kansas City Chiefs had sent home the Buffalo Bills. I am super excited about that. And I feel like Stephen A. Smith when the Cowboys be losing. All I do is smile. All I do is laugh. It's exciting to me. All I want to, you know how their little song goes, like they want to, what's the song go? Let's go Buffalo. No, I switched that up and I said, go home Buffalo, because you guys didn't deserve to be this far into the playoff. You guys were not good enough this year.
Wait, Frankie.
No. Josh Allen carried this team by himself. Josh Allen carried this team by himself. And you can't sit here and say he didn't. This man was running like crazy.
I actually agree with you on that. I agree with you.
This man had an arm, and he did everything he can to get these guys to where they're at, and they didn't deserve it. Josh Allen deserves it, but the Buffalo Bills did not deserve it. They had some games, some hiccup games that they had lost this year with the Jaguars. I believe they lost to who else did they lose to that was horrible? Houston, I think it was. So many teams that we didn't, that shouldn't even be in the conversation, they lost to. We all knew it was a good game. That was a good game. That right there should have been a Super Bowl if one of these teams were in the NFC. That was a good game between these two. For Patrick Mahomes to drive this ball down the field with only 13 seconds, Jay. 13 seconds.
I get it. Yeah.
What was Buffalo's defense in 13 seconds? Like, if you guys would have just held Patrick Mahomes down for 13 seconds and tightened up the defense on all his receivers, especially Cheetah Man, Tyreek Hill, you guys would be going to the NFC Championship right now. You guys would be hosting it. And man,
I really think in that game, though, I mean, it's unfair to say the Buffalo Bills didn't show up, and it was not all on Josh Allen, because Josh Allen wasn't playing defense. Josh Allen wasn't running the ball. I mean, Singletary actually showed up and actually ran the ball fairly decently. I think, in my opinion, number one, I think the Buffalo Bills did a good job play calling. I think at the end of the game, yes, Patrick Mahomes did do a spectacular, and I'm not taking nothing from Patrick Mahomes, and I'm going to speak out of both sides of my mouth. Patrick Mahomes did an amazing job. 13 seconds is just phenomenal. No doubt about it. And he is an elite quarterback. I don't care what he says. He performs for the most part under pressure. I don't think there's too many times where he hasn't performed. I think the Tampa Bay Super Bowl where they beat Kansas City, That was probably one of the few times that was a little bit lackluster on his part. But for the most part, this guy plays on a very good level, almost an elite level. And I think Buffalo, though, at the same time, also was very, very tired on defense. I don't think that was a fully rested team. I think they were struggling on the defensive side of the ball. Not to take it away from Patrick Mahomes, but I do think that they were a little tired on that.
I do got to give it up.
But hold on a minute. But I want to look at Josh Allen, because this Buffalo team, we have not heard the last of this team by far. Because if you look at this Buffalo team, every year they have gotten better. They really have gotten better. And Josh Allen has gotten better every single year. Now, how they play after Debo leaves and goes on somewhere else, they get a new coordinator in. We'll have to see how that transcends. But Josh Allen is just amazing. And this guy, man, he played mistake-free football. He had the same numbers yardage-wise, for the most part, give or take 5 or 10 yards, whatever, that Patrick Mahomes had. And he had 4 touchdowns to Patrick Mahomes' 3. So this guy's playing at that level. He has a lot more left to prove in terms of years, because he hasn't really been that long. But this guy is playing. I don't care what anybody says. It's going to take a little while for this team to fully get there. But this guy is, I'm telling you, he's going to be in that conversation. We'll get more into Josh Allen in a minute. But that game was really good. I mean, you had to watch every single game. You had to watch from beginning to end, because it was just that nail-biter, right? I mean, it was. And I'll tell you, the other game, what I took away from was Tannehill. I want to talk about Tannehill for a minute. I've said it. After watching that game, the takeaway I came from that game was the same takeaway that Stephen A. Smith came away with when he said that Tannehill is not the guy to get Tennessee over the hump. He's not the guy. And I think he showed that with 3 picks, 1 at the very beginning, 1 he threw it right in front of the defender, and that was the pick 6. And then I think there was another one in there. There was like 3
at the end.
Yeah, at the end. So I think they have a great running game, which I really would have liked to see him featured a little bit more and a little bit less on the pass, a little bit more with the run. I think he just needed to be a game manager, and Tannehill just did not do the game management mode. He was not a good game manager. He just wasn't, and that cost Tennessee the game. But I don't want to take anything away from Tennessee either. I think they played a hell of a game. I mean, like I said, it was close. It was close. I mean, the defense for Tennessee clearly showed up. They said Burrow 9 times. What more do you want from their defense? It really is just a Tannehill issue. It's a Tannehill issue for Tennessee. And if they can get another quarterback or somehow fix Tannehill, which I don't know if you can, but that quarterback position is really the only thing that's keeping Tennessee from being a Super Bowl contender. That really is the only position that they're hurting at right now. On the other flip side of that, Joe Cool, hey, you get sacked 9 times and you still come away with the win. So good for you, Joe Cool. And I am not a Cincinnati fan. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. But I will say this. I go back to a day when the Houston Oilers were playing the Cincinnati Bengals, and Nicky Woods and all those guys were there. And I would love to see Cincinnati, or basically just a team who has not won a Super Bowl in a long time, come away with it. And Cincinnati has been robbed for a long time at this chance. And I think Joe Burrow gives them one hell of a chance to win the Super Bowl. And I would love to see him take on Cincinnati, beat Cincinnati. They're going to have to go to Kansas City, I believe, but beat Cincinnati and go to the Super Bowl and face and I don't know how the 49ers are doing this. The 49ers play the Rams. All right, the 49ers play the Green Bay Packers. And I don't care how many times Jimmy G screws up, Debo and that defense just resurrects that team from nothing into something. And you look at Aaron Rodgers, he was very pedestrian, 20 of 29, 225 yards, no touchdowns, but no picks, and about a 91 rating. But very still, for a guy who's trying to get his legacy on point with, let's say, the likes of a Peyton Manning or something of that nature, he's not going to get to the GOAT level. That's just impossible. But just to even get to a level of Peyton Manning or even Eli Manning for that matter, he's got to win another Super Bowl on his own without McCarthy being there. And I don't even like McCarthy either. Don't get me wrong. I just kind of think those guys were perfect and they think the situation's on the line and he just happened to get it. But Rodgers is not that guy. He's just not. That's why I call him an imposter. He wants to be the GOAT. He acts, full of himself like he's the GOAT. But when it comes down to it, he's a great regular season guy, but he's not a playoff guy. And the 49ers have owned him, straight up owned him, to the point of now 4 times. And the great part about it, the best part about it, is if you go back to when Aaron Rodgers was Rod, and I know we've all watched the video, but when he go back to when he was drafted, and they asked him, do you think that, are you regretful or are you disappointed about not being drafted by the 49ers? And his response was, not nearly as disappointed as they're going to be for not drafting me. Really? Because they are 4-0 on you, guy. They own your butt. So I don't think they're as nearly as regretful as you are sitting on your couch contemplating the franchise tag if you're going to go to Green Bay or go someplace else. Amazing. But the 49ers are going to have to go up against the Rams, and the Rams are playing hella ball. And I don't think they can make those same mistakes. I don't think Jimmy G can get away with the mistakes he made in Green Bay, the mistakes he made against Dallas, and I don't think he can make those same mistakes against the Los Angeles Rams. I don't think Darnold is going to let him get away with it. I don't think Von Miller's going to let him get away with it. I don't think Patrick Ramsey's going to let him get away with it. And I think Debo is going to have to put on the performance of his life because they're going to have to go to L.A. to get that game and their home stadium, SoFi. And I'm telling you, they are not going to just give that game away. Rams are going to make them earn every inch of it if the 49ers even have a chance. But Jimmy G is going to have to play mistake-free football, and I don't think he can do it. Not against that defense. Not against that defense. So I think you're going to see the Rams, and you're going to see the help me out.
49ers?
No, not the 49ers, the other team.
Bengals.
No, not the Bengals. Crazy.
You're not going with the Bengals?
We're talking about the NFC. It's gonna be the Rams and who's the other one we got?
49ers. They're playing the 49ers.
Yeah, good God. I'm sorry, man. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so I think you're gonna see the Rams. That's what I was going about. Yeah, you're right. Rams and Cincinnati is who I really want to see, but obviously they're gonna have to beat the Chiefs, and that's the tall order. So I can't. I really believe the Rams are gonna be in the Super Bowl. It's just a matter if Cincinnati can beat Kansas City in Kansas City, and that's a very tall order. But I would love to see that matchup.
I agree. I like that. But I see everybody's Super Bowl predictions that they're writing down right now. Some of them are saying Rams and Chiefs, but I'm gonna go opposite. Honestly, I like what Joe Burrow's doing. I like what Jamar Chase is doing. I said it since the draft. I said Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, they've known each other since LSU, and he needed that one target that he knows best, and that's Jamar Chase. I mean, they have a good defense. They have the weapons. They got the quarterback. The question is, Jay, like you said, 9 sacks. It's that offensive line. If that offensive line can hold up and protect Joe Burrow better than they've done all season, because this is the game, guys. Cincinnati, this is the game. If you want to make it to the big one and you want to be the champ of the AFC and dethrone the defending AFC champions, you guys are going to have to step up that offensive line, protect Joe Burrow, give him time to find some wideouts open and stuff like that. Because if you guys, I'll tell you right now, the Chiefs get 9 sacks, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl for a third straight year. And that's going to, it's going to be a killer because I want to see Cincinnati go to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow deserves it. Hell, the city of Cincinnati deserves it.
Yeah.
I want to see Cincinnati versus Rams in the Super Bowl.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. And I want Cincinnati to win. But that's a hard thing because, here's the deal, right, Frankie? I want to see Cincinnati win it because Cincinnati hasn't won anything in quite some time, a very long period. Right? Matter of fact, you weren't even born the last time they got. It was ridiculous how long it's been. But here's the deal. I also want to see Stafford get his Super Bowl because he came out of Detroit, and I want to see him finally, before he retires, get a Super Bowl. So I'm conflicted with who I want out of that to get what because, I guess at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Stafford because I feel like Joe Burrow and Cincinnati can get back there. I really believe they're going to get back there. I think Matt Stafford his time is just limited, right? That team is limited. So I guess I want Stafford to get it just because of what it would mean for him before he retires and what it would prove for his legacy. But one thing I want to say is this. Tannehill, we talked about this in the morning show. They asked who had the worst performance, Rodgers or Tannehill? And everybody was saying Rodgers because of the implications of his legacy and this, that, and the other. I think Tannehill, because if you got a minute, and let me say, question: if the Rams make the Super Bowl but don't win it, is McVay on the hot seat? Yeah, he's on the hot seat. He's on the hot seat because he's all in. But you can also say, yeah, I think he's on the hot seat. I really do because he went all in. He's all in.
The Rams don't have a first-round draft pick until about 2026.
They are literally all in. because
they
of what
haven't had a first
you
round
did.
draft. I think they haven't had a first round draft pick, Jay, since about the 2015 or 2016 season. They
Right.
haven't had a first round pick because they've been trading that pick away, and they're not gonna have another one until 2026, and that's Sean McVay's fault.
But I want to go back for a second. Rodgers, as pedestrian as his performance was, and it 225, 20 and 29, he had a really good completion ratio, so that was good. The fact that he didn't throw any turnovers, the fact that he did not give any turnovers, I think is not as bad as Tannehill with 3. Okay, he may not have had the best numbers, but he didn't give the ball up either. And Tannehill gave the ball up 3 times. And then the fact that it was scored as an overtime game. Am I correct? It was overtime. They got it by a touchdown, correct?
Who?
Or no, that was a field goal. It was a field goal game.
Yeah,
it was a field goal game. It was, yeah, you're right. It was a field goal game. And 3 turnovers is the difference of them winning or losing. So I think that his performance has to be the worst. Has to be the worst. And then I think that Aaron Rodgers' loss has the biggest, worst implications for his legacy. So it really depends on how you look at it. Performance-wise, Aaron wasn't the worst, but what it meant to him probably was the worst.
ASAP Network, whoever's writing that, let me know what year did Jared Goff get drafted, because I'm pretty sure it was about 2016. Maybe 2015, 2016. Like I said, that was their last first-round draft pick. But I also agree with you, and I'm pretty sure a couple months ago, Jay, when the Rams made this trade for Stafford, we had a segment about this. 2016. Yes, so I was correct. I said 2015, 2016. That was their last first-round draft pick. So this will be on Sean McVay if they don't win the Super Bowl, especially now that they have a clear path to honestly get there. Because let's be real, let's be honest. The 49ers should not be where they're at. There's no way in hell we all thought that the 49ers were going to beat the Cowboys.
Absolutely.
We did not think that. That was a shocker for what the 49ers did to the Cowboys. We did not think the 49ers were going to go into Lambeau and beat the not only number 1 seed in the NFC, but the number 1 best team in the league, because they had the best record. Like, that's insane. So they are a little quiet Cinderella team right now in the NFC. So anything is possible, because Deebo Samuel, he could do it all. He could be a running back. He could be a wide receiver. He could be a punt returner or a kickoff returner. He can do it all. I won't be surprised if we see this man in tight end or even switch over and become a defender. You never know. You never know. He can do it all.
What's interesting to me, Frankie, answer me this. I'm going to ask you a question. And I want, and it's not rhetorical. I actually want your legitimate answer, and then we'll move on to the next topic.
All right.
We look at the MVP, the regular season MVP, with so much hype, so much speculation, so much anticipation, as if like this award is just like almost better than a Super Bowl trophy or something, right? We have shows that have topic after topic about who's going to get it, who's not going to get it. But at the end of the day, in a situation like this, where neither one of the 2 guys whose names are in there, which is the GOAT and the imposter as the GOAT, neither one of those guys, one of those guys is going to walk away with that trophy, but neither one of those guys are even in the Super Bowl comp. Why do we give a dang? I said dang. I'm keeping it clean. Why do we give a dang about this award so much when it has really little to no value if you don't translate it into a Super Bowl?
That's a good question. That's honestly a good question.
I mean, it has like no numerical, it has no value. Other than to say, I got their best regular season award. Who cares? Do you think Aaron Rodgers wants that award? Don't you think he'd rather have the Super Bowl MVP? Don't you think he puts more covetation on that? Same thing with Tom Brady.
Exactly, and which is why Aaron Rodgers said after his loss, he don't know what's going to happen in his future, but he is not going to be on a rebuild mode, and I know he's not going to be. And I've been saying it since the season even started. I expected him to be gone last year. Honestly, when he was saying he was, I expected him to be gone. But he came, and when he came back, I said it. This was going to be his last year in Green Bay. I'm still going to stick with that. This is definitely going to be his last year in Green Bay. I don't care what anybody say. Either he's going to retire or he's going to do what Tom Brady did and go elsewhere. The question, if he goes elsewhere, the question is where, because there's a lot of teams out there that they already have quarterbacks for their future, but there's also a couple teams that are still looking for that quarterback, such as Houston, maybe even you never know, Tennessee, since what Ryan Tannehill has been doing. Maybe they'll move on from Ryan Tannehill if they hear that Aaron Rodgers ends up becoming a free agent or he wants to leave somewhere or something like that. You never know. A lot of things can happen in the NFL, but man, it's a crazy playoff. It's going to be a crazy AFC and NFC championship round. I can't wait. There's a guy here who's a 49ers fan who's been commenting, And I just want him to know that I've been riding with the 49ers since round one. My father-in-law is a 49ers fan. I did not want to see the Cowboys move on because I've been saying all year that to Jay, also to Jay, because Jay's a Cowboys fan, so I've been getting on him. I've been saying all year that the Cowboys could have an awesome regular season, it don't matter, but they can never pass a first-round playoff, or even if they make it to a divisional round, they've still not passed that round. So I've always been saying that. I'm glad I stuck to it because the 49ers are in the NFC Championship game. But this is where I turn a road, and I gotta say goodbye, San Francisco. Let me head over to LA. Let me see what LA got, because I've never been to Inglewood, so let me go ahead and drive down to Inglewood and let me see what Inglewood's looking like. Because let me tell you something, the 49ers.
All right, let's go on to this next topic so we keep this show rolling up a little bit.
Yep, let's go on.
Good topic, by the way. Amazing stuff.
Oh,
and then we talked about it. That's why I want to go to the next one because it is. And I know you kind of already answered that, Frankie. He most likely he's going to leave because he doesn't want to go to a rebuild mode. I think where does he go? Because right now the Green Bay Packers can't afford to pay him. I mean, he's going to want quite a bit. So Frankie, in my opinion, I think he goes to one or two spots. I have said Miami. I think Miami could use him. I think with what Miami has in place, from what Brian Flores left behind, he could take that team to the Super Bowl tomorrow. I think Denver would be a good spot. And other people have said Denver, and they do have the weapons in Denver, and they have a good defense. So I think Denver could be a good spot for him. And they have said, or it has been rumored that Hackett is possibly should be interviewing for the head coaching job, which he likes Hackett in Denver. So that would be a good fit for him. What do you think, Frankie? Obviously you said he's going, but where do you think he's going?
I'm going to say one team, and it's going to be a surpriser to everybody. You ready for this one, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh was thrown in there too. Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Now
Chase Claypool can be resurged. Juju
Smith-Schuster is gone. We have not. If you've noticed, when Ben Roethlisberger is either when he's out this year, or they're losing, or if they're winning by high margin, they don't put in Dwayne Haskins. They don't. They don't
have faith in Dwayne Haskins. Nobody has faith in Dwayne Haskins.
Exactly. And I feel like they're not going to go ahead and start Mason Rudolph if they got Aaron Rodgers over there on the free agent market, or at least looking to leave Green Bay and go elsewhere.
Thomas beating down the door, probably trying to find a way to bring him in. Or does he look at Russell Wilson? Because Russell Wilson will be on the market as well. So
I don't think after the news broke out that Pete Carroll is going to be staying with Seattle, I feel that Russell Wilson is just going to ride it out with Pete Carroll. That's going to be his quarterback.
And he very well could do so. He very well could do so.
I feel like that's he's got 2 more years left on his contract, I believe, with Seattle. Why not just ride out the last 2 years, and then after your contract, both you and Pete Carroll, you're going to ride off into the sunset. Pete Carroll's going to retire because he's the oldest. I think he's the oldest coach in the NFL right now, and you got Russell Wilson, who's just going to leave to another team. By that time, we don't know where he's going to go. But I definitely see Russell Wilson leaving as well.
Hey, and let's not forget about where Brian Flores winds up. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm talking about Brian Flores. I don't think Brian Flores goes to New York, even though he's a New York guy. I think New York is leading more towards, and it has been linked to Dabo because he has that relationship with Schoen from the Buffalo. So I don't think Brian Flores is going to go there. I think what if Brian Flores goes to Denver, right? Takes that gig. And his boy is Deshaun Watson. That's what got him fired in Miami. And he goes for Deshaun Watson and brings Deshaun Watson to Denver, and Flores is the coach there.
It don't matter where Flores goes. I'm pretty sure wherever Flores goes, he's gonna try and recruit Deshaun Watson with that.
Right, but do you think? Watch this. When they do the interview process, and these coaches are interviewing Flores, do you think they say, "Okay, Flores, when you come in, what's the one player you really want to draft? Who do you want to bring in?" Do you think that he's saying, "I'm going for Watson"? Do you think he's bringing that up? I mean, you would think he would be, right?
I don't think he'll throw out like, "Oh, I want to go for Watson." I'm pretty sure he's going to reply back with what do you guys think about grabbing or looking at Deshaun Watson? Because now he noticed what he did with Miami, trying to get and lure in Deshaun Watson. Now he's going to go into a more adult, more of a coaching way and ask, "Hey, what do you guys feel about bringing him in?" Because I feel we should bring him into this organization because of what he can do for our organization. But I want to get your input on it, and I want to know what you guys are gonna ask or what you guys think. I feel like that's what Brian Flores should do instead of going in there, charging up in there, and being like, "Man, I think we should get Deshaun Watson. Let's get Deshaun Watson. Let's do everything we can to get him." Because you also got to think Houston. They want to say they're going to move away from Deshaun Watson. I've seen something like that said that Deshaun Watson might not be playing for Houston again. But then again, Houston can throw that little tag up and be like, hey, we got Deshaun Watson. We're going to let him go. We're going to let him go. But when it happens, they could just be like, take it away and say, no, we're not letting him go. We feel like he's going to play this year. So you never know.
You know what, Frankie? I mean, before we go to the next topic, I'm going to mention this one more point because I think it's an interesting point. Peyton Manning, when the doubters were if he could get another ring or not, and he was kind of had the neck fusion surgery, and he had been out for a hot minute, and people were just all over, like people were just doubting him, like he was never going to do anything. And he comes out of Indianapolis, he takes a trade, or no, I don't know if it was, I think he just signed. I don't think it was a trade. I think he just signed with Denver. And he goes and wins the Super Bowl his first year there, I believe it was, in Denver.
No, it was
the second year. I can't.
I think it was his third because his
it may have been. I know my dates always kind of foggy.
His first year he lost to the Seattle.
What I'm saying is, but he wins that Super Bowl in Denver, and now we're looking at Peyton Manning as the guy who reinvented the quarterback position from being able to do the audibles, the way they do audibles, be able to read defense. He really kind of transcended that a little bit. And then he also gets his second ring, which kind of validates his legacy. Do you think that when Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay, what if he was to go to Denver and basically reincarnate that same thing that Peyton Manning did? Do we look at Aaron Rodgers a little bit differently after that?
I mean, probably. I never look at Aaron Rodgers differently. I always think Aaron Rodgers is up there as the top 5 greatest quarterbacks of all time. I call him the
really of all time, King. Frankie. That's a big. Given all the quarterbacks that are out there, you're
maybe top 10, maybe top 10, maybe top 10, maybe top 10.
That's a big echelon because
let me tell you something. You're right.
Even a guy as not necessarily as sexy, right? He wasn't as sexy, but let's take Troy Aikman for example. Not sexy. But the man's got 3 rings.
Right.
2 different coaches, 2 different systems, 3 rings. And do we not – how do we not say – because if it wasn't for Troy Aikman, they ain't getting those rings. Do we not say that Troy Aikman should be better than Aaron Rodgers?
And he did play in the tougher times of the league.
That's back when them and San Francisco – were just going at it neck and neck, and they were always going against either Pittsburgh or Buffalo because that was during Buffalo's 4 straight Super Bowl appearances.
Mm-hmm.
And they were dominating. They weren't just playing; they were dominating. Remember, that's when they had the blowout Super Bowls. Do you remember those blowouts they would have?
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, I get that Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. He is a great quarterback, but I don't think, given his level of postseason success and Troy Aikman's postseason success, I think it's time to put some respect on Troy Aikman and stop disrespecting him for Aaron Rodgers. I just don't like that. It doesn't sit well with me. And I can even go on with Terry Bradshaw for that matter. I can go on with Ben Roethlisberger for that matter. These are guys who have multiple successes that have been able to win in the postseason, and yet we're trying to give this damn GOAT label to a guy who really honestly doesn't deserve it. Because he's good in the regular season. Well, okay. If that's your standard of greatness, I don't want it. I'll take the many years ago that I had with Aikman over Rodgers every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
And that is Jay's hot topic on how he feels about Aaron Rodgers. Let's move on to the next topic.
All right, I'm going with my rant. Let's move on to the next topic. We got plenty to go. Should Brady have retired and went out on top? Will he play another year? Well, hey, Frankie, I'm going to go first because I got a lot to say. No, I'm not going to go first because this is your guy. I'm not going to be disrespectful to you like that, Frankie. Let me shut the hell up and give you your space. Frankie, Aaron Rodgers, what should he do? Or what will he do?
You mean Tom Brady, first of all.
Tom Brady. I'm sorry. I meant Tom Brady.
Don't ever disrespect Tom Brady like that.
I know. I apologize. And I'm going to go down in infamy for that, but go ahead.
Listen,
there's going to be a meme somewhere out there, me saying that, but go ahead.
This is my dude. He's been my quarterback for 20 years. I know a lot about Tom Brady, and he's definitely coming back another year. There's no way in hell he's gonna go out like this. Tom Brady knows he could win the Super Bowl. Um, he knows he can. He definitely knows he can win it with this team. Now, it's not Tom Brady's fault that he lost Chris Godwin late into the season with a torn ACL. It's not Tom Brady's fault that AB wanted to be a jackass. Excuse my language, but honestly, jackass is not bad as donkey. But it's not his fault that AB wanted to do what he did and leave out of nowhere mid or towards the end of the season. Um, but Tom Brady is gonna come back another year just because I know he wants to go out on top, just like Peyton Manning did, just like Ray Lewis did. When you're a top person like that, you want to go out on top with the ring, and there's no doubt about it. This man wants to win a ring. Now, should have he retired maybe last year when he won a ring? Maybe. All right, maybe. But the man looks way better, and it's really sad for me to say this. He looks way better in his first 2 seasons as a Buccaneer than he did the last 2 seasons with the Patriots. All right. Now he won us a Super Bowl in '53. He left us after the year of Super Bowl 54. But let's be real, Super Bowl 53, he did not look the same. He did not look the same. Let's be real. We won the Super Bowl 13-3. Tom Brady back in the day will get about 20, maybe even more points than that in a Super Bowl. But the man was only able to get us 13 points, and he didn't have any weapons for the Patriots. But within his last 2 seasons with the Buccaneers, he looked fantastic. He looks fantastic. And it reminds me of what we were talking about earlier, Jay. It reminds me of what Peyton Manning did when he was with the Colts and what he did when he left and went over to Denver. It's crazy that we're even talking about him retiring. I know it's coming up soon, and it's going to hurt me to even see.
Well, he is mortal.
It's going to hurt me to even see the breaking news segment when it comes up and says Tom Brady calls it a career. I really hope that, he comes back and sign with the Patriots on a one-day contract and retire where he actually should retire.
He really should do that.
That's something he should do, is retire where he should.
And he will. I don't see why he would. But this is my problem with it, Frankie. This is my problem. I do think that there is a very, very good, strong case that he retires because Giselle is in his ear now. And he's listening to Giselle because, and I'm probably saying, I hope I'm saying her name right, but
you are.
He's listening to her. He's even come out and said, hey, I got to start putting family first. Giselle's like, hey, look, you're taking hits now, and I don't want you to be a walking vegetable, and you don't know where the mailbox is. She doesn't want that. She wants Tom to be with her and enjoy their life, which he should. And all intents and purposes, he should. But Tom is, but there is that little bit of a conflict within Tom because Tom still thinks, he's going to go out and, compete for another ring. The problem is this, right? I really believe wholeheartedly the man's got 7 rings. What he's done, nobody's ever going to really touch. They're just not going to. And my opinion is this. When a dude is a bad man, when he is just that damn bad, there's nothing better, sweeter, even sexier than when you just do the mic drop and you walk off with the ring and you're tossing the damn trophy like it's water in a lake and don't have a give a damn. Because you just won it so many times. The trophy really has no more luster. The trophy doesn't have any more desire. The trophy is no longer sexy to you because you've just won it so many times. And that's true, Frankie. The man's tossing it in the ring like it's nothing. Like, what if he goes to the ring? You think he cares? He don't care. That's how little value the trophy really has for him because he's won it. And all. I think it would have been just sexier had he just gone into retirement at that point and called it a day. You've done enough. But he wanted to come back. And all intents and purposes, I don't want anybody to take anything away from the Rams by saying they didn't have Godwin or AB. Because the man had a good running game in Fournette, which all intents and purposes, Fournette was healthy as a bug because he was running all over the place. He had a good passing game. Okay, he had a good defense. The only thing was suspect for him was the offensive line. That was the only thing was suspect was the offensive line. But he already knew what he had in the offensive line. So now he's going to go out most likely in either retirement off of a Super Bowl. And look, nobody's going to take away Tom Brady's GOAT status. The man's the GOAT. That's just there. I'm just saying, I like when you're the GOAT, you want the GOAT to go out on top like Michael Jordan did. Well, I can't say Michael Jordan because he did have that. He really should have never came back with the Wizards, but that's neither here nor there. Brady just should have gone out on top, man. It's just sexy to go out on top. It just doesn't look to me good when you come off of a Super Bowl win and you don't even make it back to the NFC Championship game. That's just so unsexy like. It almost brings him a slight tinge bit back to mortality. I just wanted him to go out on top. Because let me be honest, if he comes, let's say he just tells Giselle, whatever your name is, I'm going to come back one more year. I told him 45. I'm going to stay the room word. I'm going to come back at 45. I'm going to give him one more shot. Now the problem is they got 23 free agents that they got to go out there and try to sign. And that's even if they could afford to bring Godwin back because his asking price may be too much because he's coming off the tag. I don't know. And he has an ACL injury, and we don't know how he's going to fully come back from the ACL, which I think he'll be fine. But we don't know for sure yet. And, Gronk is basically waiting to see. Gronk said he's taking time out. No, I don't believe that one bit. Gronk is waiting to see what Tom does. If Tom signs that contract, Gronk will be right behind him.
That's if the Bucs want him.
If Gronk is just waiting to see what Tom does, because if Tom doesn't sign, do you really think Gronk is going to commit himself to playing with another quarterback that isn't Tom Brady? He's not going to do that. He's not that stupid.
Well, Rob Gronkowski is on his final year, so I don't think
he is. But I'm saying he's not re-signing unless Tom comes back.
If Tom comes back, which most likely he will, because he has 2 more years left on his contract, I do not think that the Buccaneers are going to go and re-sign for Rob Gronkowski, no matter what Tom Brady's going to say, because of what happened earlier.
I don't know, man. I think if Tom says it, if Tom breathes it to existence, it's going to happen. I don't see why it wouldn't happen.
Well, that front office needs to drop a foot and say, no, we need something younger. And
but let's be honest. Though, Gronk is probably going to have to adjust his salary because for them to bring him back, he's going to have to take a pay cut. And I think Tom will take a pay cut, which Tom has done in the past. Tom has taken pay cuts before to bring people back. So I don't think it's out of the realm that they bring back Gronkowski. What's out of the realm is they got 22 other people to bring back. And they're still going to short that offensive line. So who they bring back?
He said, "Am I the only one that thinks Frankie sounds like Patrick Mahomes?" That's a freaking compliment, bro.
That is a compliment. That is a compliment. But you know what But do you see what I'm going with that? Do you see where I think there's a lot of what ifs in Tampa Bay. There's a lot of what ifs in Tampa Bay with financing that Tom's going to have to look at if he comes back and see, like, okay, can we put together a championship roster? Because what good would it do him to come back if there's not a championship roster? And he's going to need answers. Tom is going to want answers at that offensive line because let's be honest, Tom doesn't operate out of the pocket. We've seen that already. He does not operate very well out of the pocket. So Tom's going to want to know and Giselle's going to damn sure want to know. Matter of fact, Giselle's probably in the contract saying that if Tom don't have an offensive line to protect him, I'm not letting my husband come back on the field. I'll be damned.
I agree. I don't honestly think majority of this Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl team is going to return next year. I feel like most of them are going to just go elsewhere, take their talent somewhere else, get more money elsewhere. And, it happens like that. When you win a Super Bowl, now you lost in the divisional round. Some of these players are like, all right, I don't think we're the team that we were. Let me go somewhere else. Let me take my talent somewhere else. Maybe some of these people will want to go to Green Bay if Aaron Rodgers stay. Maybe some of these people want to go elsewhere. Maybe, some of these offensive linemen will want to go to Cincinnati. Now that Cincinnati's looking good and the offensive line needs help, maybe some of these people want to, end up leaving Tampa Bay and going to Cincinnati, helping Joe Burrow out since he's young. You never know, man. A lot of things can happen in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see within the next couple of months and see what Tom does. But I really wish he just would have went out last year. I really wish he'd just gone out on top. It would have been so much sexier for his overall look, just to kind of have that nice little end cap on the end of it. But that's okay. Tom, we love you. You're still the GOAT. Nobody's ever going to take that away from you. All right. What's up next? Josh Allen. I put in there considered elite quarterback. what I really meant to say, and I really meant to state, and I apologize for this, was is he in the conversation to become an elite quarterback? That's really where I was going with this topic. So, Frankie, when we talk about this topic, I really want to say, is he giving off of his performance? Because he gets better every year. As you know, Josh Allen has gotten better every year. And given what he did against what we consider to be an elite quarterback and Patrick Mahomes, and his numbers were better than Patrick Mahomes, is he at least in the conversation of being on the way to becoming an elite quarterback? I think he really is. What do you think? Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think, Frankie?
I really honestly don't want to talk about a Buffalo Bills player, let alone Josh Allen, because of what he does. But I'm going to be as an NFL fan.
I love
I believe Josh Allen deserves to be in the elite conversation because of what this man has done. He's carried Buffalo Bills, honestly, by himself when he shouldn't. You have Stephon Diggs. I mean, don't get me wrong. What's the dude name that had 4 touchdowns against the Chiefs? Franchise record with 4 touchdowns in the.
You talking about Stephon Diggs?
No. McKenzie, I think it was, or something.
God, I'd have to go back and look at their thing. I don't have that. Tony, I don't know if he applied, but if you could look up that stat, that'd be great. I don't have his name. Gabriel Davis. Thank you.
Gabriel Davis.
I love ASAP. I love ASAP. I really do, because these guys are Johnny on the spot with the stat. That's awesome.
Gabriel Davis showed up for Josh Allen in the divisional round, which is surprising to me when you have Stephon Diggs, who's your number 1 wide receiver.
Right.
It shows that they locked down Stephon Diggs, but we haven't seen much from Stephon Diggs the last couple weeks, including the regular season. So when you have your quarterback that is stepping up more than your running back, is stepping up more than any player on the team, it goes to show that this man is in the elite conversation. Now, should he be a Super Bowl champion with the Bills? Not with the Bills. He should be a Super Bowl champion with someone else.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. But you know what the interesting thing about it is? What really, for me, puts him in the conversation into becoming an elite quarterback is they actually have designed plays for him to run the ball. That's how well Josh Allen is good at a quarterback. He can run the ball, he can pass the ball with accuracy, and he's dependable. And he makes good IQ, football intelligent IQ in his playmaking. The guy he has it, man. He's a better runner, and quote me if I'm wrong, he's a better runner than Patrick Mahomes. Better runner. Ooh. No, he is. I dare you to call me differently. Look at his running and look at Patrick Mahomes running. They do not do design runs for Patrick Mahomes. They do it for him.
I agree.
And he completes it. And he does it with executed beautifulness.
And what's weird and what's crazy about it is a man could be tight coverage, and somehow, some way, Josh Allen fits into that tight window. He fits that ball into that tight window and gets conversions. That's what's crazy about it. The man can run towards out of bounds and throw the ball opposite way for yards. Yards.
You're right, and I'm gonna tell you right now. The reason why Patrick Mahomes is advanced, and this is to your credit, by the way, Frankie, the point that you made, and I'm going to give you homage. The reason why is Patrick Mahomes is on a little bit more of a complete team. Like you said, to your credit, he's on a little bit more of a complete team than Buffalo. But let me tell you something, and I want this to be absolutely clear. Buffalo is not that far behind. They really aren't. They are not that far behind. This game, like you said, Frankie, let's be honest. Let's just be really super honest. This game could have gone either way.
Definitely.
It went Patrick Mahomes' way because Buffalo's defense just didn't have enough oomph to stop that last possession by Patrick Mahomes. Nothing to take away or discredit Patrick Mahomes. But let's be honest, that game was so freaking close that it could have gone either way. That's how ready Buffalo is. And don't think for 1 minute that Buffalo's not coming back next year on a mission.
Are they, Jay? Because they might get a new offensive coordinator.
I don't think it's going to matter. Look, they're going to do their due diligence. Buffalo will do their due diligence. Who they bring in, they will do it.
We know the connection between new offensive coordinators and quarterbacks that have been in this league for a while. You know this, Jay. A
But
quarterback
don't
that
you
wants.
think that Josh Allen will have some sort of say-so? At least they will consult him about an offensive coordinator?
I seen something earlier that said Sean or whatever his name is, Sean McDermott or whatever. I saw that he said if they have to look for a new offensive coordinator, they are not going to be getting talks from Josh Allen. They're not going to ask him. They're not. He's not going to put his sense into it. I don't know why. I think he should.
To me, that doesn't sound very smart, but okay.
Exactly.
That doesn't sound very smart to me, but okay.
I feel like he should, because if you're going to have...
Absolutely he should. Because, look, it's like, if I'm going to go out and find me a wife, I'm going to have my 2 cents in it.
Exactly.
And when you're a quarterback, you're married to your offensive coordinator.
Exactly.
And the two of you got to be in a marriage that supports the same ideology.
Yep. Which is why I'm saying, Jay, like, will the Bills, if they get a new offensive coordinator that Josh Allen does not get to get involved with it and talk about, and
we're gonna put a pin in this one, Frankie, because I agree with what you're saying. We're gonna put a pin in this one to see where this translates from here. But if Buffalo doesn't consult Josh Allen on their offensive coordinator, that's just not smart thinking. Okay, we're gonna put a pin in that and see what the Buffalo Bills do going forward, and see if it fruitions or goes against them.
I understand that they dominated us. I understand they dominated us and stuff. But I just want to remind all you.
Well, they did domination. It's not they did.
That's cool.
They destroyed New England. They made New England look like the junior league football team.
Jay, that's right. But you know what? They still lost in 13 seconds.
Hey, I don't care how you look at it, man. New England was on the couch. All right, let's move on real quick, because I think this is really, really exciting to me. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to take this one for a minute, Frankie. I got to take this one because Sean Payton is moving on from the Saints. And like they said earlier, it doesn't look good when Tom Benson comes out, like they said. And I think Joe brought it up in the chat earlier, and he brought it to my attention. I didn't know about it. But basically, Benson was like, we don't know if, what the future holds for us with him, this, that, and the other. It doesn't look good for a guy who's a tenured guy, 15 years in, and you're like, what? What? Either way, it doesn't really matter. Sean Payton, if he says he's taking a game, he's taking a sabbatical from the game because he needs a break. I'm telling you right now. And Jerry Jones has kind of come out. I think he's kind of hitting at it on 105, the station there in Dallas, the radio station that, I think that they make a play at him. I think they do. And if God, 8 pounds, 6 ounce baby Jesus, make this happen. I swear, everything bad that I have ever said about Jerry Jones, if you bring in Sean Payton by some miracle and just let Sean Payton do Sean Payton-like things, like you did with Jimmy Johnson back in the day. Jerry, just sit back, make your money, sit in your press box, watch your Super Bowl victories, and let Sean Payton go to work, because this is the perfect offense. And Dak needs somebody to help him develop. And this guy if he can bring Winston back, he can certainly bring Dak to the promised land. They already have a good defense. They just need that little tweak on offense. Jerry, don't screw this up. Pay the man.
It's not going to happen, Jay. I'm sorry.
Yes, I want Sean Payton. I want Sean Payton yesterday.
Jay, it's not going to happen. You want to know why? And I'm going to tell you why.
And I don't want to tell me why.
And I'm not going to. And I don't want to do it to break your heart, but the reason why.
Break my heart. My brother was broken about 20 years ago when they let go of Jimmy Johnson. But go ahead and say what you got to say.
He said it himself. He's not coming next year to coach any team. If he was somehow miraculously, go to the Dallas.
People say things all the time, Frankie. It doesn't mean that they can't be convinced.
He's not going to do it because he has 2 or 3 more years left on his Saints contract, and if he was to move on to somewhere else, they will have to reconstruct that to get some type of money value for
maybe even picks. Hell, Dallas will give him picks.
Jerry Jones isn't going to do. Oh my God, Jerry Jones.
I'm not saying that, Jerry. Listen, I guess you didn't hear the first part of that. I said 6 pound, 8 ounce baby Jesus.
He's not going to do that neither because you
talk to Jerry Jones to make it happen. Because Jerry Jones on his own isn't smart enough to bring in this guy without giving up something. And giving up something, even though Jerry Jones doesn't understand this, giving up picks for Sean Payton is awesome because you got what you need on the team. You just need somebody to come in, play the calls right, develop your quarterback, and lead the team. And this guy can do that.
You know what? You sound like Max Kellerman, then that's why he got fired from ESPN's First Take.
Man, let me tell you something. Max Kellerman is still a good commentator. Don't put no disrespect on his name.
Sean Payton is not going to Dallas. It's not going to happen. He's not going anywhere. He's retired. He's done. It's done. Jerry Jones isn't going to go for 6 pounds, 8 ounces. Baby Jesus isn't going to bring that for you because you prayed for him to take your team to the Super Bowl back in like week 3 of this year's regular season. It's not going to happen, Jay. All right, the 6 pound, 8 ounce baby Jesus that you pray for does not like and is not a Cowboy fan. All right, he doesn't like it, and that's and then the reason
you're going to hell. You spoke for Jesus. You're going to hell. You put words in Jesus' mouth.
No, I didn't put words in Jesus' mouth. Jesus
you're going
spoke
to hell.
To me.
Next topic.
That 6 pound, 8 ounce football god Jesus, whatever. He told me he ain't no Cowboys man, which is why you guys have not been what you have been for the past 25 plus years.
Well, hey, we'll see, man. We'll see. I still believe Jerry Jones has a power of persuasion, and we'll see, man. Either way, Sean Payton is no longer with the Saints. The Saints are now looking for a quarterback. They're now looking for a head coach. The Saints are in a really interesting time right now because they do have a good quarterback, I think, in Winston. I think he can be that guy. But they're going to need to bring in the right coach to continue where Sean Payton left off with him.
It's different with Bruce Arians, though. All right, I'm reading this comment. It's different with Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians' contract was up with the Cardinals, and then he retired after his contract.
Yeah, and I believe that. I think maybe he goes to TV for a year, and maybe we ride out McCarthy for one more year, and then we bring in Sean Payton. But they're still going to have – this is a deal. This is what sucks because to your point, Frankie, to your point, you're right. Sean Payton still has years left with New Orleans. So whoever Sean Payton wants to come back, and if he's not going to go back to New Orleans, they're going to have to work out a trade. Because it's like a Barry Sanders. Remember Barry Sanders when he played with Detroit? Detroit wouldn't release him off that contract to go to play with a different team. So you know what Barry Sanders said? Well, screw you then. I'm just going to retire. Hell with you. I got money. I'm good. Sean Payton kind of could do the same. He could retire and just be like, screw it, I'm done. Or if New Orleans is smart, maybe it's not Dallas, but maybe it's some other team. They're smart to at least look at the value of trading for either players or picks and get something out of nothing.
Or compensation, because, you need some money, especially if you're going.
You're right. Or compensation. That's what I'm getting at.
Because if you're going into the offseason with not much cap space money for next year, you're definitely going to want to.
They don't. Look into that. New Orleans has matter of fact, what are they like, $70 million under the cap or over the cap or something like? They're in the hole. They're in the hole for like $70 million. Like these guys are in purgatory.
Yeah,
like
so
legit purgatory.
If they want to move, if Sean Payton wants to go somewhere else and the Saints want to make that work, the best thing for it is don't look for draft picks. Don't look for anything else. Get compensation because you guys need the money. You guys are going to need it. Let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, let's go to the next topic. But that's good points, though. By the way, Bucks, are they reloading or rebuilding? I'm gonna let you take this because this is your boy Brady over there. Reloading or retooling or rebuilding?
They were reloading last year. They even said it themselves. They were reloading. They were not rebuilding. This year, going into the offseason, they are most definitely going to be rebuilding. I don't care what they say. There's no way in hell you guys can reload for another year in a row. You guys already wasted so much money re-signing some of these players to at least 1-year contracts. Why the hell are they going to spend their time on another year with the Bucks after what just happened this year? Like I said, most of these players are not going to return. Most of these players are going to take their talents elsewhere, feel like they can do better elsewhere, go with young quarterbacks because let's be real and let's be honest. What veteran quarterback you see right now that's left in the playoff? Matthew Stafford. That is it. And why is Matthew Stafford there? Because he has a top contending team. So did Tom Brady, but he lost to Matthew Stafford and that top contending team. So Tampa Bay, you're no longer on a reloading mode. You guys are going to move on to a rebuild mode, and I see that happening. Watch.
And that's the thing, right? I don't think right now, honestly, and it depends on what Tom does, to be honest with you. If Tom comes back and says, all right, Bruce, let's do the best we can with the finances the way they are, get as much as you possibly can. I really believe that they are not reloading and they are not rebuilding. What I believe is they are in that purgatory that is right in the freaking middle. It's not a rebuild or a reload. It's just in the middle. And when you're in purgatory, when you're in the middle, you're stuck. And I think when Tom Brady comes back, he basically is making the Bucs stuck at middle rung of a team because they don't put what they need around him to make him successful. And if Tom retires, then I think they go to rebuild mode, and I think they can come back and restart from anew. But if Tom comes back, I think he delays the rebuild, but doesn't necessarily compete beyond a 500, maybe it's a little bit above 500 team. So I think they're just in purgatory with Tom, to be honest with you. If Tom comes back, and it's not Tom's fault. It's just they don't have the finances. I don't think they have the finances or the free agents to get back to be a championship caliber team. I don't think they're going to be able to do. I personally don't think they're going to be. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they have some kind of cap wizard that can work the numbers, but I don't think they had the finances to make them the team that had them get the Super Bowl when Tom first came. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. But I'm going to say what I said earlier. They're no longer on a reloading mode. I feel like they're going to be on a rebuild. You say otherwise. But
well, and I say that, what I'm saying is if Tom comes back, they're in the middle. They're in purgatory.
Right.
If Tom retires, then I think they go to rebuild, which is what you're saying. Because Tom's not, let's be honest, Tom's not coming back for a rebuilding team. That's not what Tom's coming back for.
Well, if you really look at it, if Tom does want to come back, either way, they're gonna have to be on a rebuild mode either way. You have Chris Godwin, who's gonna be leaving. You have OJ Howard and Rob Gronkowski for your tight end position that is probably most likely gonna be gone. So you have to look at other players for draft for free agency. You're gonna have to.
Well, don't forget though, they still have Brait. They still got Brait over there.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm serious. That guy's really good, but he really gets overlooked a lot of times.
What does that say? Timing wise, a lot of those guys.
Yeah, I agree with what he's saying.
Oh,
all right, let's go on to the next topic. I think it's going to depend on what Tom does, whether or not they go to one or the other, or if they, in my opinion, just go to the purgatory mode. I think the Tampa Bay Bucs are in purgatory mode if Tom comes back, but we'll see what happens. Major League Baseball making progress. Will meet again. Hey, let's talk about this real quick because it's been interesting and people have been talking about with the talks having some little bit of progress, but still a long way to go, but enough progress to warrant a meeting tomorrow. Here's the deal, right? Here's the sticking points. The sticking points are arbitration eligibility in terms of the length to get into arbitration. Major League Baseball wants to keep it the way it is, and Major League Baseball wants to shorten the arbitration period. The other one is age-based free agency. The players want basically on their age to be able to get into unrestricted free agency. Basically, the players want a little bit more control of where they go and not be necessarily so landlocked to what the owners want from them on their first contract or therefore. So also in dispute is the minimum wage, which right now I think is in the mid 500s, and they want to get it to the mid 700s, which I think takes them from 210 million to 245 million. But I don't think the wages, the minimum wages, I don't think that's necessarily a sticking point. What the sticking points are is the eligibility or the amount of time for arbitration and age-based playoffs. And I think those are the only two sticking points that they have to work out. And I don't think, Frankie, and tell me if I'm wrong, we were talking about this earlier, is that the Major League Baseball, I think the spring training is going to be affected to some level because it starts in the mid-February. But I don't think I don't think the owners are going to allow it to go into the regular season for a lot of reasons. Mainly the money side of it, right? The money side, because some of these guys are getting paid astronomical amounts. And I think for them to make a profit, baseball can't afford. Baseball already has a hard time filling up the stadiums to begin with. They really do. They have a hard time filling up the stadiums to begin with. Secondly, if you go into a delayed season, they're going to have a hard time getting the fans to come back and fill up the stadiums once again, because maybe the fans feel cheated. So I think it's going to be a lot. I think the players right now have the more competitive advantage by the union. I think the union, holds more of the cards necessarily than what Major League Baseball holds. What do you think, Frankie?
Yeah, I agree. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you good, brother.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. I feel that I just want MLB to come back, man. I don't want this to be postponed. I don't want this to move further in, because if this moves further in, that means we're gonna have a shorter season, just like the COVID season, and I don't want that. I love baseball. We all love Frankie the Yankee. We want him to come back as well. So I need this to happen. I need baseball to come back, and I'm just glad that they're making progress to try and bring back at least something, for these players and for these coaches and for everything in Major League Baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't want this to get pushed any further. I just want this to get done over with. I want them to schedule baseball at a reasonable time, because let me tell you something, Jay, we're heading into February and baseball is already almost a month to 2 months away. We need this to happen, and I want it to start, because this is the one sport besides football, Jay. Let's be real. Besides football, baseball is the one sport where me and you get into it. We get into it. When the Houston Astros and the Yankees play, let me tell you guys something. If you guys are watching right now, me and Jay, we get heated over these games. We get heated. So if the Yankees end up beating Houston like we did last year, Jay gets really upset with me. He doesn't like Frankie the Yankee much. But when the Houston Astros cheat their way to beating the Yankees, I'm not really happy with it, But
right, and let me say one thing, Frankie. Let me say one thing, because there's one sticking point that the morning show didn't cover that I want to kind of bring out.
Do it. Do something that the morning show didn't do.
Hey, the Players Union wants the smaller market teams to receive $100 million less than what they're currently getting.
Oh my gosh.
Which is ridiculous. For the whole sake of the game, it's stupid. It doesn't financially make sense. The players are asking for more than what they really should get. Now, they did cut that number. They cut that number down. This is where the progress is coming into play. They cut that number down from $100 million to $30 million. Now, here's the deal with me. Major League Baseball really needs to stick on this point. The other two, the arbitration issue and the age-based, issue for free agency, I think they can kind of bend a little bit on that. But on the financial aspect of it, they need to kind of stand firm on that and be like, no, we're not taking money away from the smaller market teams. That's ridiculous. That's just dumb. That doesn't even make good business sense.
Right.
The players are going to try to say, well, if we give you an expanded if you give you expanded playoffs, if we go with the expanded playoffs, can you give us age-based? And I think that's perfectly fine. I think this is what I think should happen. At some level, Major League Baseball and the Players Union should come to agreement that, number one, you're not going to take money away from the smaller market teams. You're not going to do that. You will give them a slightly lesser arbitration period, but keep age-based, but not give them the age-based one for expanded playoffs. And maybe they say, okay, we'll take the arbitration, but give us the age-based. Those two can be interchangeable. But I think Major League Baseball should keep the smaller market the way it is, and either give them the age-based or give them the arbitration for expanded playoffs. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know what I agree. I think if they can come to some sort of resolution with that, I think we get baseball back at the regular season exactly the way it's supposed to be.
Jay, why the hell are you here, and why aren't you the president of the MLBPA right now? You need to go over there and get this going.
Hey man, I'm not smart enough for that. I'm just a grassroots guy out of the gutters of Georgia, man. I don't know nothing, man. That's Tony. No, Tony's the Air Force guy. That's Tony's avenue. He's gonna be the next CEO of something. I'm just looking if I can get a job with sanitation.
Before we move on to the next topic, since we're talking about baseball, Big Papi David Ortiz, former Boston Red Sox.
We can talk about that.
He is going into the Hall of Fame. But Jay, I need to get your thoughts because you were behind this man for a very long time. There are 3 players that haven't been or still haven't been elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds being one of them, and your man Clement. He was in his 10th and final year in the ballot.
Let me tell you something, Frankie.
He can't go in. I want to get your thought because I know you love this man. I know.
God, I'm so pissed off. Yep. I'm pissed off for a lot of reasons. I don't like Barry Bonds. Matter of fact, he's an a-hole. I'm not going to say the whole thing, but he's an a-hole. He always has been an a-hole. A self-righteous, self-indulged a-hole. But what he's done for the game of baseball in terms of playing and things, and look, he had the steroids. I get it, man. I'm not a big steroid guy either, man. I don't like, but he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He just does. Let the man in. That beef is with him and Hank Aaron to iron out who the real true better person is. And I think if I'm Barry Bonds, I get in the Hall of Fame, but I make an apology. I make an apology to Hank Aaron for doing roids and not getting it the right way. But whatever it is, what it is. But he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Number 2, Roger Clemens definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And if anybody thinks differently, they're retarded. And I don't care what they say. Yes, okay, whatever. He admitted they were doing steroids. Look, there was a lot of people. He was in the steroid era. Pitchers were doing steroids. Hitters were doing steroids. One offsets the other. So let the man in. And number 3, and probably the most of all, more than anybody else, more than Barry Bonds, more than Ortiz, more than Roger Clemens, how you're not letting the all-time hits leader and Pete Rose, don't let him in as a coach. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm fine with not letting him in as a coach. But on a player level, what he's done for the game of baseball is ridiculous. And why he's not let into the Hall of Fame, which is a museum, by the way, not even affiliated with baseball, it's a museum, is absolutely just an abominable action. Don't let him in as a coach because what he did as a coach is wrong. But as a player, let the man in. That's my 2 cents.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on it because I know you're a Roger Clemens fan.
I am a Roger Clemens. I'm not a Yankees fan by any means.
Right.
But Roger Clemens is a Texas product.
And I wanted to get your thought on it because I remember last year when he didn't get into the Hall of Fame, you were upset about it. We had a topic on it, and you were really upset about it. And you said he has one more year, and if he's not in it, you were gonna have some thoughts. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, it is because look, I don't like him for being a Yankees product, but he's also from Texas. He represents Texas, and he did play for the Astros as well. And so I do support. Even though I don't just like I support Andy Pettit. I don't like the Rangers by any stretch of the imagination. Or the Yankees, I keep saying Rangers. I don't like the Yankees because they're the Yankees, but I do respect the Yankees because it's an amazing organization. I don't like them, but I respect them because they're an amazing organization and they're part of America. No, Frankie, I'm going to give you this. Because this is where I really feel. The Yankees are a part. Look, if you don't know your baseball history, then you don't know your baseball history. The Yankees have a place in American history. They really just kind of do. They're part of the fabric. They really are part of the fabric. Just like the Cowboys are part of the fabric. They're part of the fabric. They're part of the fabric of baseball, right? Just as much as the Brooklyn Dodgers were for bringing in Jackie Robinson and making history, they're a part of the American fabric. So, but I don't like the Yankees at the same time because I'm an Astros fan. You got to understand. So it goes both ways. But I do believe Roger Clemens is he deserves it. Like Barry Bonds deserves it. Like David Ortiz deserves it. Like Pete Rose deserves it. They all deserve it. And baseball needs to step aside and Cooperstown needs to step up. That's my 2 cents.
It's a beautiful museum, by the way. Being from New York, I've been there. It's a beautiful museum. I need to go there again because I want to see my boy Derek Jeter's plaque. But let's move on to the next topic.
Next topic. Load management needed with Klay Thompson. Let's talk about this for a minute. I never liked load management. I never did when it came to people like Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and things like that. But I gotta be honest with you, Frankie, and you're gonna give me your 2 cents on this. I know you are because that's because I love you for that because you're your boy. But I think with Klay Thompson, look, this man has suffered a lot, Frankie. Like a lot. Like, I mean, not even a little bit. Like, he's suffered a lot. The Achilles is no joke. It's no joke. The ACL is not even more of a joke. When the man comes to you and he's telling you, hey, I got knee soreness. And let's be honest, when he came back the first time, he popped his Achilles after the ACL. Popped his Achilles right off the jump, and then he was back into rehab. You cannot just put this man in a lineup like you put anybody else in a lineup. You can't do that with him. Because when you go to physical therapy, they don't just take you from point A to point Z. There's a progression. Because you have to allow your body to get acclimated to that. And once you tear something, it never goes back the same way twice. And once you tear it, it's torn, and it is now you have now aged your body. I don't know how Klay Thompson is, but whatever his age is, you add about 10 more years onto it, and that's where his body's at. So you can't bring him back into the lineup like you would just bring him back into the lineup as if he just came off the truck yesterday. You have to slowly work his minutes in. Maybe you start him out with just 10 minutes. He said his knee is hurting. That means there's an issue. That means he's playing too much. That means his body's not ready for that workload that you're giving it. So I do believe in this particular case, and there are other cases like this, load management is what you have to do with Klay Thompson. Because if you don't, and you don't listen to what's going on, Klay Thompson's going to be back. No, I'm telling you right now, next injury Klay Thompson takes on is done. His career is over. It's just over. He'll never be the same Klay Thompson you had before. It won't happen that way. So you're going to have to load management him back into the lineup the way you want him into the lineup. Frankie, I give it the floor to you.
Sorry, I'm busy watching the Lakers game right now, which, by the way, we're up at halftime, 62-50.
Nobody cares about the Lakers, Frankie. Your season's over with. Let's move on.
Stop it.
You guys are below 500. Be quiet.
Oh, this is coming from a guy who's been talking about rebuild.
Don't you hate it? Don't you hate it? Don't you hate it when the Yankees didn't do nothing? When the Patriots didn't do nothing? When the Lakers aren't doing nothing? You're like Freddie Henderson. You just have nothing to be happy about.
You want to know why, Jay? I don't care because
I know
I've witnessed my Lakers without getting a championship for 10 years. I've witnessed my Yankees without a championship for over 10 years. My Patriots have recently won a Super Bowl a couple years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, so it don't matter to me. Anyway, let's talk about this.
Yes.
Klay Thompson. By the way, I want to say I'm sorry. I made the slides. I made the slides on my phone, and I did not know that my phone had auto-corrected Clay's name to that. It actually did say
L.A. Thompson. I love it.
It did say Klay, but my phone had auto-correct, and I just noticed it did. That's why I was laughing at the start of this segment. But load management needing to, keep an eye. Management needs to keep an eye on Klay Thompson. You're correct, Jay. This is a man who had many horrible injuries where we thought he should have been gone after his Achilles injury. We thought he was going to be done after having back-to-back injuries that could have honestly taken your career away. Now he's saying he has knee soreness. It's basically, like you said, Jay, it's basically saying that the Warriors has started him too quickly. I understand he's over here saying, oh, I'm good to go. I want to come back. And Golden State's like, okay, well, we've seen great things from you during practice, so we're just going to throw you in and you're going to start being a starting lineup. They should have started off with putting him and coming off the bench. This is a man who came off of 2 serious injuries. I understand he's your starter. He's part of the Splash Brothers and stuff like that. But, man, you have to – he's your franchise. Like Steph Curry, he's your franchise. He's the guy who brings – if it's not Steph Curry that's stepping up, it's Klay Thompson. So you need to you need to worry about his health more than you need to worry about your wins and losses in the season. I understand you're having some hiccup games and you're having some games where you're dominant and some games where you lost, like recently they lost to the Pacers last week or something. You cannot rush Klay Thompson to come back after 2 serious injuries that took him out the past 2 years. The past 2 years.
Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this, Frankie. If he tells Golden State management, hey, listen, I got knee soreness. Like, my knees are hurting. I don't know about you. Me personally, if I'm the owner of this team, the GM of this team, I'm sending Klay in for MRIs.
Yep, I'm sitting him down.
I want to know, okay, listen, before I just completely lose this guy for like ever, send this guy in for an MRI. Let's see what damage has occurred that has him hurting. So that way we can, put him on a regiment to get him back. But let's know what we're dealing with before we put him back on the court. So if you got knee soreness, I need an MRI. I need a doctor, an orthopedic surgeon telling me, hey, this is where Klay is at. This is what's wrong with him. This is why he's hurting. This is what I recommend. I need a plan before I put him back on the court. Do you agree?
I agree. I would either send him for MRI tests to check out on his knee soreness, or I would either just sit him until I feel, if I was the owner or if I was the coach, I will sit him until I feel that he's 100%.
Right, but you're doing orthopedic stuff. You're doing MRIs. You're doing all the tests necessary to find out what you're actually dealing with before you put him back out on that court and have him rupture something else.
My real thought on this is, and we've seen it many times, if he gets injured again, will Golden State, because let's be real, they're looking good without even Klay Thompson. So if he gets hurt again for a third straight year, will Golden State continue to stay with Klay Thompson, or will they put him on a trade market to get something huge for Klay Thompson? Because I know Golden State, they're probably not gonna, if he's hurt again, they're probably not gonna stick with Klay Thompson that much longer because they know the future.
But you know what though? But that's why if I'm Klay Thompson, watch this. And then to your point, right? Klay Thompson needs to understand too, and he needs to take ownership of his own body. And Klay Thompson needs to be saying to management, "Hey, listen, let's get an MRI. Let me talk to my doctors. Let me see where I'm at before I go back on the court. I need an MRI because he needs to know something. He needs to know what he's dealing with because if he has soreness now, that means an injury, a major injury, could be down the road. This could be the telltale sign for something down the road, and it's better to catch it early than have it pop and then be just done.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. But at a player standpoint, he don't want to do that. He wants to play because he loves the big game of basketball. He hasn't played in 2 years.
But I get that. And I guess to your point, if you love the game so damn much, get the MRI so you can keep playing the game.
Exactly.
But I get it. But I understand the heart of a lion is the heart of a lion. Yeah, but sometimes the heart of a lion can screw you over. Yeah. That's where Golden State staff should step in and say, "Hey, Klay, I know you want to go, but before you go, let's get the MRI. Let's do the necessary research because we don't want to lose you forever or be in a pickle or have you in a pickle. Let's do our research first and then put you back on the court." An MRI does not take very long. An MRI can be done quick and you can have the results right there on the spot.
I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I don't see Klay Thompson lasting long with Golden State if his injuries are going.
And that may be, and maybe we'll have to wait and see. Let's go to the next topic. What's the next topic? Woo! Hey, this is the last topic of the evening. Last topic. This is an interesting, and Frankie, because I put this topic in, I'm going to put it a certain kind of way, and I'm going to give you the first reaction. But let me put the question the way I want it to be, and get your true reaction. Okay. The number 1 seed in the East is tied with the number 4 seed in the West. It has been said on the morning show when I brought this idea up. It was said on the morning show that the East is better than the top 4 seeds in the West, or a variation of thereof. That they said that just because their record basically doesn't reflect it, the East is a very strong atmosphere compared to the West. I call and I'm going to keep this clean because I want to get us on TV. We're working on getting on TV. So I got to keep it clean. I cannot curse. And this is very hard for me. Mike Hughes, you should take a lesson here. I'm going to keep this clean. It's BS. It's absolute BS. Because you cannot tell me that the number 3 seed, Chicago, is better than the number 3 seed, Memphis. We've already seen that Memphis can win without their star players. We've already seen that Chicago gets beat and blown out by the Orlando Magic. So we already know by cancellation of default that that's not true.
No.
Now you want to talk about the Phoenix? Let's go to the top. We'll skip Golden State because Golden State would be tied with Brooklyn. And we already know that Golden State's much better than Brooklyn because Brooklyn's got chemistry issues and Harden wants out. So we're not even going to – and Durant is on the injury table. And Kyrie can only play on away games. So we're not going to go with Golden State over Brooklyn because that's just ludicrous. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our attention to the top where we all know what Phoenix brings to the table. We all know what Phoenix brings to the table. And to compare Phoenix to Miami, I'm not going to taste that rabbit hole. Because it's stupid. It's ludicrous. It's ridiculous. And I turn the attention over to Frankie.
I just want to start off by saying I love the fact how you kept it clean and you specifically pointed out to Mike Hughes. If none of you guys follow, know, Mike Hughes is one of our members at ASAP Sports Network. You can catch him on a morning show, I believe at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. Eastern time. Monday through Friday, but Mike Hughes is a huge Chicago fan, and for you to go ahead and start off with saying Mike Hughes' name to keep it clean, and then follow up with bringing his team in and saying that the Chicago Bulls are not better than the Memphis Grizzlies, just had me on the edge of my bed, like, ooh, Jay, you asking for some heat with Mike Hughes.
That's all right. You know what, Frankie? I want the smoke. I want the smoke, the fire team, the policeman, and the freaking ambulance.
But it makes me happy because you're going out. We're Western teams, Jay. We're Western. Lakers and Houston. We're in the West, baby. And we know better than to say that the East is better than the West, no matter what. I don't care what anybody say. Maybe the last couple seasons, yes, because of certain teams like the Bucks and the Hawks, maybe, and stuff like that. But the West will always be the best, baby. We are the best for a reason. We're dominant. We're dominant. No matter what the records look like, it don't matter what the seedings are like, the West is dominant. You go and you tell me when the heck you remember.
No, you can say hell. Hell is okay. Say hell all you want. Nobody can charge you for saying hell.
All right. So you're gonna sit here and tell me, or you're gonna sit there and tell me that what is it? The Miami Heat. You think that the Miami Heat, like you said, Jay, are better than the Memphis Grizzlies? No. Hell no. Ja Morant is on a crazy level where he's still on my hot take. I still am going to say that the Memphis Grizzlies, still to this day, from about 2 months ago to this day, I'm still going to say that Memphis Grizzlies are going to make it to the Western Conference Finals. And my man Jay wrote it down. I'm saying that too,
Frankie. I'm saying it too, so I'm right there with you.
And my man Jay wrote it down. I remember, Jay, you thought, you looked at me and you thought I was crazy for even saying that because of both Phoenix and both Golden State. I remember you guys looked at me crazy, but now you're going on my side because look at what Memphis is doing.
Yeah.
These guys are.
You know what's crazy though, Frankie?
And
you know
it doesn't
what's
matter
crazy?
where they're seated.
No, Frankie, what's crazy to me is the pedigree, the championship pedigree, and Chris Paul led Phoenix is amazing. It's sickly amazing. And Devin Booker is even more amazing. And they don't even have DeAndre Ayton right now. He's hurt, but they're still winning. They're still doing the right things without DeAndre Ayton. When he comes back, it's stupid. And to think that Memphis is doing what Memphis is doing without star players is even more sick. The Western Conference is ferocious right now. The top four teams. The top four. And I don't even put the top because that's Utah Jazz. Whatever. I'm just gonna say the top three. I don't care about Utah. Utah does that. But the top 3 teams in the West, the top 3, are so much more ahead, light years ahead of the East. That's the only team in the East. And let me tell you something right now. They're not featured right now, but they should be. But they're not. The only team in the East that can truly compete with the West is the Milwaukee Bucks.
And you know
but
what's
the problem is, but here's this now. Now, hold on. Now, hear this now. This is the problem with the Milwaukee Bucks. They let go of probably what I consider to be the junkyard dog, the Mario Elie. And you probably don't even know who Mario Elie is. But back in the day, in 1993 to 1995, the Houston Rockets had a guy named Mario Elie. They called him the junkyard dog, the enforcer, the nasty guy, the guy that did all the things that took to make a team tough. The Jay Crowders. They let him go. And even though you don't think so, that's a big loss for Milwaukee. A big loss. Because let's be honest, Middleton, Drew Holiday, Giannis, they don't have a mean streak. They're very, very talented players. But they don't have a mean streak. And PJ Tucker gave them that mean streak. So even though it doesn't seem like they lost a lot in PJ Tucker, they really kind of lost more than what they thought.
It's funny that you say that.
That's why I don't have the Milwaukee Bucks winning this year. Because they don't have a mean streak in them. You need that mean streak. And I'm going to tell you right now, Memphis has it. Phoenix has it. I don't know about Golden State right now. I don't. They had the experience and they had the pedigree, and that's why they're in there, because of those 2 characteristics alone, experience and pedigree. But I'm going to be honest with you. Memphis is just nasty. Nasty. Like the Southpaw. The Rocky Balboa.
I'm glad that you brought up PJ Tucker. I'm glad you pointed that up because and you said he was the defensive angry man that brought them that heat. Jay, can you tell me where PJ Tucker is now?
I believe he's with I'm probably wrong. I'm gonna say Miami.
Yes, he is with the Miami Heat, who are currently the number 1 seed in the East.
Do you think? Hey, do you think PJ has a little bit of tenacity? Because let me be honest with you, PJ. Let me be honest with you. There's things that the stats just don't give you. There's things that the stats just don't give you. And PJ Tucker has championship pedigree now because with his championship coming off of Milwaukee. He's got tenacity. He's got leadership. And he can rebound. But the 5th and last, characteristic that he gives the Miami Heat, which most people can't get, is that motivational Ray Lewis style, let's get the job done mentality. The pit bull mentality, which Miami has not had. But he gives them that toughness. He gives them that motivational speaking. He gives them that experience. The things that all they need to put it together, he gives it to them. It's interesting. And it's going to be a really good playoffs as we get closer. But let's just and Frankie, I know you're a Lakers fan. I get it, brother. You're a Lakers fan. The Lakers, look, let's just call. Look, sometimes you got to take the old Yeller out to the backyard, and you got to put that bullet in the brain and call it done, and just come back next year with a different game plan, maybe different personnel. Maybe you don't let LeBron make all the moves. Maybe Jenny Buss, and I don't know their GM. It used to be, I forget who their GM was, but maybe you let Pelinka make the decisions on who should be on the team and who shouldn't be on the team, and take that back from him. Because let's be honest, when Jordan was with the Bulls as a player, they were ferocious. They've done things that nobody's ever done before. But when you let LeBron who has won championships, do the same thing what Jordan tried to do with Washington, neither one of those outcomes are ever any good. So maybe you let Pelinka go back and say, hey, Bron, I got your back. I'm going to put the right guys around you that I think you're going to thrive with. But let me take it from here. I don't know if LeBron would adhere to that, or if LeBron would say, you know what, Pelinka, I'm out of here. I'm going to go to whatever town I think I had the better shot at. I don't know. That tends to be LeBron's legacy, is when things get tough or things don't look right, he goes to somebody else. What do you think, Frankie?
As a Laker fan, I'm going to disagree. As an NBA fan, there's some of the points I do agree with you on. But I'm not going to put the nail on a coffin for the Lakers just yet. I mean, yeah, we're under 500, but we just got back AD. Let's see what can change offensively and defensively with the Lakers now that AD's back. They're looking pretty good right now that AD's back. LeBron James got his right-hand man. Russell Westbrook has been let me take that back, because I just witnessed Russell Westbrook doing an air ball, 3-ball, and it just pissed me off.
The problem with it, Frankie, is not bringing back AD. You can bring back AD. Bring back AD. The problem is the facilitation. The problem with the Lakers is the facilitation of the ball and the movement of the ball and getting people in the right position. And do you think that Russell Westbrook could put people in the right position to get them the ball and make them productive?
And he just turned the ball over.
All right, folks. Hey, first of all, let me just say to Tony Hollingsworth, our production guy for this evening, thank you. You really took care of us with high standards. ASAP really has taken good care of us, and we appreciate ASAP, and we appreciate Tony Hollingsworth. And Frankie, I'm gonna let you close this out, brother, with whatever it is you want to say, bro.
Yeah, just guys, February 8th, we're going on TV. All right, we're going on TV February 8th. Watch out for us. We'll keep bringing it up every show. Catch us again on Thursday. Hopefully, our man Logan will be back. Most likely, he will. Like we said, he is sick right now. It is not COVID related, so don't think that it is not COVID related. He's just not feeling well. He will be back. I want to say thank you to our production guy who came in tonight. Tony, his name is
Tony Hollingsworth.
Tony Hollingsworth. Thank you so much for helping us out tonight. He's backstage right now. He don't want to show his face or anything like that because he's too pretty. He's too pretty for you guys.
He's too damn pretty. He's an Air Force guy. He's too pretty. Air Force is pretty.
He's kind of like Jay, but younger. All right. So.
Damn.
So I want to
don't put that on Tony. Tony's much better looking than I am. Don't even put that on Tony. That's ridiculous.
I want to thank for all the comments, the likes, the shares. Thank you guys for following us. It's been amazing. We're at a good start of 2022, and we're just gonna, we're gonna bring you guys more and more. The more we show up for you guys, we're gonna be better. We're gonna, Oh, and don't forget, we have a special guest coming Thursday. We have the Philly sports guy coming in Thursday, at 8 or 7 p.m. Eastern time. So you guys don't want to miss that. I got a lot to say to that man about the Eagles. About the
wait, say it one more time. Your audio kind of went in now. Tell us who we got one more time. Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Who do we got coming on?
Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We got none other than the Philly sports guy, Jamie. You guys are not gonna want to miss this. This guy. He's a big guy. He's huge. He's huge. I'm not saying weight wise. I'm just saying he's huge. He's a huge TikTok guy. Huge on Instagram. If you guys don't follow him on Facebook, you guys should. He's a really good guy. He's Philly everything. If you guys think I'm lying, I'm serious. He's Philly.
He's a very energetic man.
He's amazing, and we got him on our show Thursday. It's amazing. I can't wait because, like I said, I got a lot of things to say to this man. I feel like Stephen A. Smith, man. I got some things to talk about with the Eagles, and especially his Philadelphia Flyers. He's a big Flyers fan, and I'm a big Boston Bruins fan. So I got some words for this man because the Philadelphia Flyers are not looking so good. They are low. And when I say low, I mean at the bottom of their seating. So I got a lot. You guys are going to want to come in on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Also, don't forget to come in on Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern on that time as well, where I'm your boy, Frankie C. with my boy Jay McLovin, and we got our boy Tony in the background who is pretty to show his face. You guys have a wonderful night, and we'll catch you guys on Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. ASAP out.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.